Hello again, my friends, please savor this story. Title: Am I the A for telling my parents to keep the stolen money? I started working while still in high school, taking a job at a business owned by a friend of my father. I was diligent about saving most of my earnings, only spending on a few personal items like a PS4 and games, things my parents were unwilling to purchase for me. My parents, who were financially secure, wanted me to understand the value of money and the effort it took to earn luxuries, a lesson I accepted without resentment. I even shared my PS4 with my younger siblings, enjoying my games mainly during times when they were busy with homework or asleep. As my high school days ended, my parents introduced a new rule: I had to pay rent if I continued to live at home. This was a setback since I had planned to save money over the summer to reduce my work hours during the upcoming university term. Nonetheless, I adapted to this by working incredibly hard both academically and at my part-time job, where I took on early morning shifts loading delivery trucks. This schedule forced me to adopt an early bedtime, around 7 p.m., to cope with the early starts, which significantly restricted my social activities. Upon graduating from high school, I secured a job in another province and began preparing for a major move. My graduation party brought an unexpected gesture from my parents. They presented me with a check covering all the rent I had paid, with a small amount of interest added. This moment was pivotal. I found myself laughing out of disbelief. All the social sacrifices I made during university and the financial freedom I forfeited seemed trivialized by this gesture. I questioned my parents about whether they imposed similar financial responsibilities on my sister, who was not working while attending school. They admitted they did not, which only intensified my frustration. In a moment of anger, I tore up the check and explicitly advised my younger brother against getting a job, warning him of potential unfair treatment. I quickly packed my essentials, including my computer, some clothes, the PS4, and toiletries, and left while my parents protested. I even warned them not to try stopping me, stating I would call the police if necessary. I relocated to a friend's house, where her parents kindly allowed me to stay since she was also away at university. This change gave me a chance to reflect and block communication with my family, seeking to establish boundaries after the upheaval. Shortly after, I resigned from my job, telling my boss I needed to take time off due to illness, to which he responded with understanding and a light-hearted comment about my perseverance close to graduation. During this turbulent time, my grandfather reached out to provide support. We met for coffee, where I shared my feelings and frustrations. He empathized with my situation and presented me with a cashier's check, substantially more than what my parents had offered, insisting it was a personal gift from him and in memory of my grandmother, not tied to any inheritance. This gesture from my grandfather was comforting, yet it couldn't completely heal the sense of betrayal I felt from my parents. While some relatives criticized my decision to cut ties and demanded I apologize to my parents, I felt my actions were justified given the circumstances. My social life and personal savings had suffered significantly during my university years due to the financial arrangements imposed by my parents. Now calmer, but still firm in my decision, I wonder if I'm too emotionally involved to see the situation clearly. Am I in the wrong here? Update. I took the advice many of you offered to heart and decided to unblock my family and have a conversation with my parents. We met for lunch today at the Keg, where we had a heartfelt discussion. My parents expressed that they were unaware of the depth of my feelings during those 4 challenging years. My mom was particularly moved and tearfully apologized, regretting that I felt neglected and uncared for. It appears they had read my previous post before it was removed, and were quite shaken by the content and upset about my relationship with a single mom who is 14 years my senior. They expressed a desire to meet her, but I declined. During lunch, they offered me the check again. This time, I accepted it with gratitude, indicating that I might visit home later. After lunch, I went directly to the bank. Conveniently, we used the same branch, making the deposit without issue and confirming the funds were added to my account. Then, I decided to block them again. I felt it was right to support someone who has been a significant figure in my life recently, so I wrote a check for $4,312 to my girlfriend. This amount represented roughly the interest accrued on the saved money. She's a hardworking individual, consistently loading trucks, and truly deserves some positivity in her life, even though I know that can't be me. Tomorrow, I plan to meet with my grandfather. I intend to explain my recent decisions and actions, and I also want to invite him to visit my new place once I move out west. This weekend, I'll be staying at my girlfriend's house while her ex has the kids. Thanks to everyone here for your guidance and support. It has been invaluable.